The most respected people in any room are rarely the ones trying hardest to be respected. That is the paradox almost no one talks about. You have seen it yourself. The man who enters quietly, says little, and commands everything. And then there is the other type, the one laughing too loud, agreeing too fast, scanning faces after every sentence to measure how he landed. One is magnetic. One is invisible in the worst possible way. The difference is not charisma. It is not looks. It is not status. It is something far deeper and far more permanent. It is inner solidity. A kind of psychological groundedness that does not shift based on who is watching or what they think. Most men were never taught this. They were taught to perform, to impress, to earn their place in every room they walked into. And that conditioning quietly destroys their presence. In this video, you are going to learn 6 specific habits that silently rebuild that presence from the inside out. These are not tricks. They are not scripts. They are architectural changes to how you carry yourself. And the final habit, the 6th one, is the one that will disturb you most, because it targets the deepest insecurity almost every man carries without knowing it. The Stoics understood something about human nature that modern psychology is only beginning to confirm. Marcus Aurelius, writing alone in his journal with no audience and no applause, said that a man's worth is measured not by external praise, but by the quality of his inner life. He governed an empire and still chose to govern himself first. Seneca wrote that the man who needs constant reassurance from others has not yet met himself. He described the noise of social approval as a distraction from the only conversation that truly matters, the one you have with your own conscience. Epictetus, who began his life as a slave, argued that the only true freedom is the freedom from needing others to think well of you. These were not passive men. They were not hermits or detached philosophers. They operated in the most politically charged, socially complex environments imaginable. And yet they found a way to remain unmoved. That is the model. Not coldness, not arrogance, not isolation, but a quiet, unshakable self-possession that made them trustworthy, magnetic, and deeply respected. Social power, in their framework, always begins with self-governance. When you stop needing the room begins to need you. The first habit is to stop auditioning for approval in every social situation you enter. Most men do this unconsciously. They walk into a room and immediately begin performing, adjusting their energy to match what they think others want, softening their opinions to avoid friction, amplifying their personality to hold attention. This is auditioning. And auditions signal that you need the role. The Stoic reframe is this: you are not a candidate. You are already complete. When you walk into a room and simply exist without needing it to validate you, something shifts in how others read you. A practical example: next time you are in a group conversation, resist the urge to follow up your point with a smile or a glance to check reactions. Just speak and let it land. People begin to sense that your words do not come attached to need. That is magnetic. The second habit is to speak with precision and then stop. Insecure men over-explain. They fill silence with justification because silence feels like disapproval. They repeat their point in 3 different ways, hoping one version will be accepted. The Stoics called unnecessary words a form of weakness. Seneca wrote that speech should be like a well-aimed arrow. It goes where it is meant to go, and then it is done. When you say something clearly, once, and then hold the silence that follows, you communicate control. You communicate that your words do not require defense. In a meeting, in a confrontation, in casual conversation, the man who speaks less but says more is always the one people remember longest. The third habit is to make your time visibly selective. Men who are available for everything are valued by no one. When you say yes to every invitation, every request, every distraction, you communicate that your time costs nothing. The Stoic practice of memento mori, remembering the finitude of life. Make selectivity not a social strategy, but a deeply honest response to reality. Your time is genuinely limited. Treat it accordingly. When you decline something calmly and without excessive apology, people recalibrate how they see you. They begin to understand that your presence, when given, means something real. The fourth habit is the mastery of emotional regulation in high-pressure moments. Nothing destroys social power faster than visible emotional reactivity. When someone challenges you, dismisses you, or disrespects you and you respond immediately with heat, you hand them complete control of your state. Marcus Aurelius practiced the discipline of the pause. Before reaction, there is a space. That space is where character lives. When someone says something designed to destabilize you and you pause, hold eye contact, and respond slowly, you demonstrate that your inner world cannot be hijacked by someone else's behavior. That demonstration is deeply, quietly attractive to every person watching. The fifth habit is setting clean, calm boundaries without drama or apology. Most men either have no boundaries or they enforce them with aggression, which reveals that the boundary is actually an emotional defense rather than a grounded position. A true boundary is stated once calmly, and then it is simply true. You do not repeat it. You do not negotiate it under social pressure. You do not apologize for it. In practice, this looks like telling someone once that you will not tolerate a certain behavior, and then, if they repeat it, quietly removing yourself from that dynamic. No speech, no anger, no performance. The absence of drama in your enforcement is what makes the boundary credible. The sixth and final habit is to stop chasing validation and closure from people who have already shown you who they are. This is the one that cuts deepest. Most men spend enormous psychological energy trying to get certain people, ex-partners, distant fathers, dismissive peers, to finally understand them, acknowledge them, respect them. This need for closure is approval-seeking dressed in a philosophical costume. Epictetus was direct. Some things are not in your control, and another person's recognition of your worth is one of them. When you stop waiting for that recognition and redirect that energy inward, something remarkable happens. You stop leaking power. You stop being emotionally hostage to people who have no intention of granting what you are asking for. That internal withdrawal is not bitterness. It is freedom. And freedom, worn quietly, is the most attractive thing a man can carry. When you begin living these 6 habits simultaneously, something shifts that goes beyond individual behavior. It is not that you become better at social situations. It is that you stop needing them to go a certain way. That shift is the core of what people describe when they say someone has presence. Presence is not volume. It is not dominance. It is the unmistakable signal that a person is fully inhabited, that there is someone genuinely home inside that body, that those eyes, that silence. The approval seeker is always partially absent, always reaching outward for something to complete him. The grounded man has already turned inward and found what he was looking for. This is the identity shift these habits produce over time. You stop performing and start being. You stop managing impressions and start building character. Character is durable in a way that charm can never be. Charm is weather. Character is climate. People may be entertained by charm, but they are drawn, over the long arc of time, to the man whose character remains consistent, whether he is being watched or not, whether he is winning or not, whether he is being appreciated or not. That consistency is the foundation of silent attraction. If this video gave you something real to think about, take a moment and drop a comment below telling me which of these 6 habits is the hardest one for you right now. Not the one you think sounds difficult in theory, the one that actually creates friction in your daily life. That answer will tell you exactly where your next level of growth is waiting. If you found this valuable, a like helps this content reach men who genuinely need it, and I mean that without exaggeration. And if you want to keep building this kind of psychological clarity, subscribe and stay with this channel. Every video is built around the same principle, that real strength is quiet, that real attraction is internal, and that the most powerful version of you is not louder or more impressive than you are now. He is simply more settled, more grounded, more himself. Become that man.